Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames. Today we are finally playing Mono Green Infect. This is a deck that I've been wanting to play for a while because I really like Infect. Scars of Mirrodin is the very first set that I started playing, and Infect was the first deck that I ever played in Standard at the time, and it's a deck I'm a big fan of. Of course, it's not always great in the meta because any removal pretty much just steamrolls us, but Snuff Out is not particularly good in the meta right now. Really, the only decks running it are like Dimir control decks, maybe some sideboard slots. But in general, when Snuff Out's bad, Infect gets a little bit better. Now, Cast Down's still a great card, so we'll see how we do. But basically, we have Infectors, Glistener Elf, Blight Mamba, Ichor Wellspring, Ichor Clawmere. We're trying to deal 10 damage to our opponent, and we do that by buffing them up with Llanowar Augur, Rancor. Both of these give Trample. Mutagenic Growth is no mana to give +2/+2. Embiggen is going to give +4/+4 to either Glistener Elf or Ichor Clawmere, and just +3/+3 to the Blight Mamba or the Augur, though we probably shouldn't be going in on the Augur unless we're really desperate because it doesn't have Infect. Might of Old Krosa can give +4/+4 as a sorcery, essentially. Snakeskin Veil and Vines of Vastwood are to protect our creatures. Go Forth can be a pump spell, and it can search up a basic land, for which we're playing 13, and 4 escape tunnels to give our creatures unblockable. And that is basically the game plan. In our sideboard, we have Graveyard Hate, some more protection, Anti-Fairies Tech, Anti-Artifacts, Gut Shot for Krark Clan Shamans and things like that, and a couple of Ram Throughs. So let's take it for a league and see how we do. All right, we are on the draw here, and we are flooded. We have a Blight Mamba, though, which can survive decently with the Regenerate, plus we have Mutagenic and Snakeskin Veil. It's not looking great. We only have 4 damage. We do have Unblockable. This could survive some removal. Definitely feels like a mulligan. If this were any other creature, it would probably be worse. The fact that we can keep it alive is honestly worth something. I still think we probably need to go down lower. This has no creature, which is pretty bad, but it does have 2 lands with the Go Forth, and then enough damage to get across the finish line. Since we're down to 6, I think we'll keep it. See, these are the best. Rancor's good. Vines, I guess we get rid of 1 Might. If we don't draw a creature, we're just gonna lose, but maybe we'll be okay. Delver doesn't look great for us. Glistener Elf, no, we get our Might back. I'm just gonna cast this now so that we don't get counterspelled. But if we can't resolve a creature at all, it's going to be pretty tough to win. We have to draw a creature first, and then we have to resolve it. So, and they reveal a counterspell. Well, if they just leave those up for basically the whole game, we're gonna be toast, I think. We do get a creature, one that they probably won't counter. They decide to after all. Okay. Maybe they just have a lot of counterspells, or maybe, I don't know, another Delver, and we're just going to be killed pretty quick here. Well, we have to just hope this resolves, I think. Chances are low, but they probably just flip this and then they cycle a Lorien here. If they just flip this, we only have like a 2-turn clock anyway. There's no guarantee we can get in for lethal this next turn. They mill 2 islands, so terrors aren't really coming soon. I mean, if they, I guess, just have a bunch of terrors in hand now, maybe we can get there. Like, top deck a Forest, Might plus Rancor would do it if they have no counter spells. There's a Terror, though. Okay, Forest would still be good. I mean, Rancor plus Might makes it 7. Yeah. Mutagenic's good, too. Okay, so Might makes it a 5/5. I have to Rancor, because otherwise this is a waste. So then we Rancor, and it's a 7/5. If they block, I get +2/+2, so my guy's not going to die. Yeah, so we're just doing this. And then we have the Mutagenic. This is not going to be lethal this turn, regardless of whether they block. But it's still pretty dang good. As long as we don't get hit by like a Demon Inferior. I think that would have already happened probably, though, if they had it. I assume they just have more terrors in hand, because if they had counterspells, they would have left them up. If they had cantrips, they would have probably cast them before the terror. If they had Demon Inferior, I think we would have seen it already. So we're swinging. I guess if they don't block, then we're actually just dead to a Delver flip. Actually, we're dead if we Mutagenic, too. If I had 2 Mutagenics, they would die here. They're taking the chance that I don't, and I do not. If I do 1 Mutagenic, we die no matter what. So actually, I just have to leave it there. I mean, I'm never just leaving this back to block, so we just have to hope they don't flip a Delver. And they don't. Play an island. And they have another Serpent. I can give this +8, so it'll be 11. They block, it'll be 13. If they attack with these, I think they die. But they do make it so that I can't Mutagenic Growth this way, because I go to 1. Well, I might have old Krosa, and then I hope for the best. But might makes it lethal regardless, because if they block, it gets +2/+2, and then I can hold up Vines. I don't think they should have attacked with this Terror, although we still might have been able to get them. But this goes to 9, we trample for 4, that's lethal. I don't need to do anything. Oh, super close game. And it actually worked out. Almost always when you keep a hand with no creatures, you're not going to win. But it actually worked out very nicely. They should not have countered that Llanowar Augur, because we never would have had an Infect creature if they hadn't. Tormod's Crypt, is this one that I care about that for? It keeps the Terrors off, but we should be faster than a Terror. I think Tormod is just for, like, Dredge and things like that. Maybe not even Dredge. Decks that would be faster than us, potentially, like Spy combo. We don't need Claim, Scattershot, no. Tommy is safekeeping. Ram Through is not bad. Although Ward is rough, but, like, being able to take out a Delver if we don't have Trample is kind of nice. I kind of think our main deck is just fine here. The only thing we have problems with is the counter spells, which could be problematic. We're going to try to keep a hand with a lot of creatures, the opposite of what we had. But Ram Through, I just don't think they're super necessary. Maybe we'll feel different. Maybe on the draw, they're not bad. Maybe I should have brought them in here. All right, this is 2 creatures, 3 lands. This hand looks pretty solid. It would be better only if, like, one of these was a Glistener Elf. They ponder. There's our Glistener Elf. I think I just play that. And then, yeah, I mean, they didn't have a Delver, and it's going to be a few turns until they can get a Terror. So even just chipping in for 2 or 3 poison while we set other things up can be pretty good. And they might have to leave up counter spells to try to interact. Ooh, they do have a Delver. Okay. That changes things a little bit, because if I pump... Ooh, Augurs. Okay. I want this Escape Tunnel for unblockability. I think if I go forth, they might Spell Pierce it, but then I'll have to play the Tunnel. But I think we're going to try that, because I'd like a land here and then play the Augur thing. That is good. So we play a Forest. So I think I just don't attack. I play Augur, and then if that's good, the next turn I can have Unblockable and 4, and then these as well. Yeah, I think that seems solid. And they'd have to have like a Force Spike to counter this. I could attack and bluff a Mutagenic Growth, but not only do we not have it, if they call our bluff it's really bad, but also they could just have a Spell Pierce, and then they're not too worried about the Mutagenic. So some situations I might bluff if they were tapped out, but not in this one. They're going to Brainstorm. I have no issue with them spending their mana to set up a Delver right now, seeing as I'm not worried about them going on the aggro this time. It's just 1 extra toughness, it's 2 extra power. Oh, I guess Escape Tunnel we can't make unblockable for the Elf with the Augur unless it was already on the field. So that's because this has to happen in our upkeep, which means, okay, I think they're gonna have, yeah, Demon, that's why with the Brainstorm. Okay. Fair enough. Because I was going to say, oh, if they tap out here, I can just get them. Do I even care about another creature at this point with these 2 in hand? Second from the top. I think we're going to just bottom that. If these both eat counter spells, maybe it's rough, but they're not going to have counter spell up here. If they deem again, I'll probably put them on top. Don't think we play... It's tough. There's a chance they brought in a null. Like if they just didn't... If they had a bunch of bad sideboard or bad main deck cards and they brought in sideboard cards, an Acre Clawmere could meet a null or a Steel Sabotage, whereas obviously Blight Mamba won't. And then next turn I can make it unblockable 4/4, 8, 12, 16, so that if they counterspell any one card, it's fine. I think we're going to go for the Blight Mamba. I think it's safer. I don't think them bringing in a Null or Sabotage are great cards, but against a deck like Infect, where all you need to do is survive a couple of turns, it's not uncommon to just like bring in 10 sideboard cards that are maybe okay. And if we get countered there, I think we're in kind of a rough spot, depending on what they do, and we might have an avenue to just kill them here. As long as we don't run into another Demon Farrier. Since they're playing Deem, I can probably rule out they're playing Boomerang. So that means I only have to worry about counter spells on my turn. They're attacking. That probably is just because it's kind of a waste to leave back with these guys. But I don't have to use the tunnel now. Oh, I forgot I needed a stop in my upkeep. Well, that's annoying, because if I did that, they'd have to have 2 counter spells, 2 Spell Pierces or something, to get me. Maybe that's fine. I can play a Mirror. If it gets countered, that's fine. Well, we're going to put that stop in our upkeep this time. I don't think I'm casting any of these, though. I think we're just swinging for 1. I don't think them bringing in a Null or Sabotage are great cards, but against a deck like Infect, where all you need to do is survive a couple of turns, it's not uncommon to just like bring in 10 sideboard cards that are maybe okay. And if we get countered there, I think we're in kind of a rough spot, depending on what they do. And we might have an avenue to just kill them here, as long as we don't run into another Demon Farrier. Since they're playing Deem, I can probably rule out they're playing Boomerang. So that means I only have to worry about counter spells on my turn. They're attacking. That probably is just because it's kind of a waste to leave back with these guys. But I don't have to use the tunnel now. Oh, I forgot I needed a stop in my upkeep. Well, that's annoying. Because if I did that, they'd have to have 2 counter spells, 2 spell pierces or something to get me. Maybe that's fine. I can play a mirror. If it gets countered, that's fine. Well, we're going to put that stop in our upkeep this time. I don't think I'm casting any of these, though. I think we're just swinging for 1. Playing this guy. That does eat a counter spell. Play another tunnel. And pass. I'll probably turn 1 tunnel into a forest in case we get another pump spell. And then keep 1 for unblockability. But that could be pretty costly if they deem this or something. Or even if they find just like a Sleep of the Dead, keep it tapped for 2 turns. That's pretty brutal. Thought Scour, Mill and Island, and a Lorien. Mental Note. They did bring in a Null. I wasn't fully crazy, just mostly. Yeah, attacking is also kind of their main way to maybe have a chance. Like, if they can slow me down a couple more turns, they can get me, so that makes sense. But we're gonna get a forest, and I guess I don't need to make unblockable. Do I sack this now? We have more than lethal, and they have to have 2 counter spells. I think it's worth it, but if we do get boomeranged, it's going to be pretty bad, admittedly. There's another mirror. Okay, well, let's go for it. Oh, I probably needed a might there. That was a mistake. Keep making mistakes. What am I doing? I needed a might in my combat, or my main phase. Now, this, if Embiggen gets countered, it's not lethal, although it's pretty close next turn. So let's just, I could bait with a might, but they're not going to counter that. That's 6, 7, 8. And then I want to play the mirror this turn, I think. So I guess I am Embiggen. And if that gets countered, it's fine. It does. Maybe they would have just countered a Might of Old Krosa. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so I think this makes it a 3-turn clock. This puts them at 3 away, which means Might is lethal with either of these. They can't counter. I'm going to mutagenic growth here, just so it doesn't get countered, and it puts them pretty close so that even if we don't get another spell through, if we just have these 2, we can get there over the course of a couple turns. I'm definitely making misplays here. If we'd mighted, it looks like, unless they had 2 other spells, looks like if we had just mighted in our main phase, we would have won that one on that turn. I have not played Infect in a long time, and that is my excuse. They are still attacking. They definitely have enough spells to get a Terror down. Pretty sure they still have this Lorien in hand. They have the Sleep of the Dead. Okay. Well, they could just sleep both of these, and then that's going to give them enough time to kill us with this. That's pretty unfortunate. Even if we find a creature here, I think that just means we die. Yep, we definitely threw. Play a creature. I guess, actually, if we play a creature, they have to sleep all 3, because these will untap next turn. So we can maybe still get there. Also, the sleep costs 3, unless they have another one in hand, so they're not going to be able to sleep even 2 of them, potentially. Alright, there's the sleep on the mirror, and a serpent. That means we should be able to get them, because we can make 1 unblockable, and then +2/+2. So yeah, they're just hoping we don't have any pump spell, which is fair, because they could kill us next turn, but we will be able to get there. Snakeskin Veil as well. Give this guy unblockable. Let's play this Might of Old Krosa the correct way this time, which is doing it during our main phase. Alright, well, we punted, but they were not able to capitalize, and we got the game. The match, rather. Alright, we're against Carves, who I believe also plays Mono Blue Terror often. This hand is terrible. 5 lands. This hand is still pretty bad. We have 4 lands with the go-forths, but they could be pump spells. So if we had 1 Infect creature, I would keep it. And then, of course, now we get no lands. Okay, well, we're down to 4, and I don't think we can afford to keep any protection. We just have to keep the things that pump the most. This is 4, 3, and 2 for no mana. So this is technically lethal. This is 10 damage, that is, if we don't want to run up against any counter spells or any interaction at all. I may very well just concede before playing a single land, depending on what they are doing and what we draw, to try to preserve the knowledge of what our deck is. Because it is a very important thing to, like, them siding differently can matter. If I play this, like, if I drew a Glistener Elf there, we would obviously go for it. But what are the chances? I think I'm going to play the forest because, 1, it doesn't really tell them what we're doing. And honestly, mulliganing low and then playing a forest, they might think we're on Spy combo. They Thought Scour. Yeah, they're on Dimir Terror. Yes, that's what they play sometimes. Maybe most of the time. Thought Scour again. That could be a terror right now. Oh, they have no lands. They have one land. They kept a 7-card hand and it's one land. If we get a Glistener Elf, we can maybe have a shot. It's an Augur. I don't want to play an Augur because it tells them what's happening. But now that they're missing lands, I mean, we have to go for it, right? Now they know what deck we're on because no other deck plays these. But if it's possible that they'll miss lands, then if we play these and then top deck a Glistener Elf, maybe we can still get there. I'm not going to throw away a game that we have a shot at, which we do currently, but Ponder's going to help them find a land. Yep. And then I mentioned Snuffouts are at an all-time low. Well, this is a deck playing Snuffouts. We do find a Blight Mamba, but unfortunately, only one land. So this is definitely going to be a tough match because of the Snuffouts, but also they have found lands and we have not. Another mutagenic. I could Rancor onto an Augur, start attacking. They snuff this out in response and we lose both of them. Mental Note away 2 Snackers. Oof. Brainstorm, Snackers back. Even if we find a Glistener Elf, we probably just die to a removal spell. If we find a land, same thing with the Blight Mamba. And they have a Gurmag. We get an escape tunnel. All right. Well, it did not pan out for us. We kept a really, really rough one because we went down to 4, and now we're gonna lose, and they know what we're on. So I guess we'll bring in all the protection, and Rancor is good, but it's just a 2-for-1's us. But I think we have to get a good hand anyway. I don't know if Crypt is good enough here again. I think it's still not, but I'll bring in 2 safekeepings and get a little greedy with a Go Forth and a Rancor. Alright, this hand looks reasonable except for the fact that we don't have any creatures that have Infect. Otherwise, it's pretty good. I almost want to keep it because we have protection for them and then a good amount of damage. Well, this is going to look really silly again if we don't find a creature, but that's just the way it goes. I don't really want to go to 4 again and have no shot at all. Play the Augur, Ponder. I mean, if we can get down a Glistener Elf here, then we can hold up protection for it, and then they'd have to have like 2 Snuffouts. That'd be really good. Might of Old Krosa. This is 10, 12 damage. I could also put a Rancor on this and just start attacking, which is a play that I've seen, a few different Infect players implement when they don't have their Infect creatures, and I've never seen it win a game. So I don't think that's the play. Not unless they had like 0 cards in hand would I do that. They Mental Note away a Snacker and then a Null. And another Mental Note, bringing back the Snacker. I think we're going to search for a land, because if we find a 2-drop, we're going to want to be able to have a protection spell up for it. And if we just don't find a 2-drop, it's not going to matter. Thought Scour, a Deep Analysis. There's a Terror. Okay, come on. Glistener Elf would let us have 2 protection spells. There's a Blight Mamba. We will take it. I mean, the chances they have 1 Snuff Out and a Cast Down are pretty high, but we have to do what we can. Mental Note of Brainstorm away. Brainstorm. They could also just find multiple Snuff Outs, which would be tough too. Or a Counterspell would do it as well. They just have a Gurmag and a Terror, so it's also just going to be very hard to get through. They wisely don't attack. No removal spell, at least not yet. Oh, I maybe should crack this in the upkeep, but I did not. Yeah, I probably should have. Oh, God. I'm just playing this terribly. Because now we can Rancor. I can play everything except kicking the Vines, which would mean I would have a 8, 9, 10, like a 12 power creature. Well, I think I'm going to Rancor this, and I'm going to Might of Old Krosa now. At the very least, they're going to have to block and lose like a Terror, and I can try to Indestructible it with the Safekeeping. Well, they're just blocking like that. I'm going to Mutagenic Growth, and I think we'll just deal them 4. Hold everything up. Thought Scour, away 2 lands. So we have double protection. We will not forget to sack our Augur in the next upkeep, if that is the play. We have another Terror, though. Might just be able to block enough. Timing of Safekeeping, luckily, can give Indestructible. Also, we have Regenerate. So if I sack this and they double block, I can just regenerate, leave up both of our spells still. Another Snacker. Swing with the Snacker. Okay. And cycle a Lorien for an island. Feels like they might have a Spell Pierce too. Oh, I didn't use the Augur again. I'm so good at this game. We do have a Cleaker Clawmere, so I could just attack, regenerate, and then play this. But then I'm susceptible. If I'd sacked it, it would be better because I could eat a Terror. Could just attack, regenerate, which softens one of these for next turn, and then I still have both these up. We're not getting in for lethal this turn regardless, so I don't actually know if it's wrong to have not sacked the Augur. I think we're just attacking. I could get another guy down, but that doesn't seem amazing. Well, honestly, it's not terrible, because if I get this down, I can give this trample. If they block this, it becomes a 6/6, so that's already trampling over. And then I attack with this, and I can regenerate. That might not be bad, actually. I don't want to attack and have to regenerate and then play this, though, because we're out of these. I think we're going to play this guy. The fact that they both gain trample makes it so that they kind of have to block them both a lot, and then we can throw this on whichever one they don't block enough, and then safekeeping to keep it alive. I think that might be okay. If they have an annul here, this was not a great play. So I probably should have done this pre-combat to see if they did. Although if they did it pre-combat, I still wouldn't have attacked, so it wouldn't matter. And it resolves. They do have enough damage to force me to chump block here. Oh, they have Arms of Hadar? Well, that's annoying. Huh. Wow, the worst play to play this guy out into an Arms of Hadar. My only play is to Vines of Vastwood to keep one of them alive, and then they have a Spell Pierce for it, I'm pretty sure, but that's pretty much all we got. Or maybe just a Dispel. Yep. Alright, and then they attack, and we have to chump block, and we lose. Well, I wasn't expecting the Arms of Hadar, which I probably should have, but I think we were losing to that pretty poorly either way. Did not play that game great, to be fair. Alright, on the play, we have a Blight Mamba, and we have enough damage. Finally, a hand that looks reasonable. We have enough damage if we can kick this, that is. So it's possible I should just lead with an Escape Tunnel, sack that. Then we don't have Unblockable. I think we're getting greedy and just playing the Forest. It's also rough because then maybe depending on what we're up against, if we're up against a lot of removal or burn or something, I might want to play the Blight Mamba on turn 3 with a Vines of Vastwood up, and we're against Rakdos Burn. That's probably the case, but then I just play Tunnel now. Once we get another 2-drop, we get an Augur. Okay. Yeah. So I just play Tunnel now, try to protect this on turn 3 when we play it. And the unblockability isn't super necessary, both because they don't have a lot of blockers and now because we have trample here. This is 12 damage. So Rakdos Madness is a deck that taps out the first couple of turns often, like with a Vampire's Kiss or a Grab the Prize here. But they do. I was going to say they might leave up mana so that they can try to interact with the Blight Mamba on my end step and then also on their turn. They did not. Mutagenic's not bad. They're not really going to have a reason to cast a spell that deals less than 3, unless they have like a poor Galvanic in their deck. So we really only have 1 protection spell, and if they have Lightning Bolts, 2 bolts, or like a Fiery Temper and a bolt, it's not great. But if they don't, they pretty much just lose here. If Blight Mamba dies, we lose if we don't find another Infector. They plot a Highway Robbery and play a Carnarium. Okay. They don't have a way to interact, clearly, and are just assuming that we don't have a way to kill them, which we absolutely do. Let's go for this finally. Remember to use the Augur. Glistener Elf, we're going to Might of Old Krosa, we're going to Might of Old Krosa, we're going to attack for 12. Alright, so this is, I think, a bad matchup for us because they have a lot of removal in their main deck, but that was obviously pretty good. Safekeeping, just more protection. Is this one Ram Through would be good? They don't have a ton of creatures, but if they do, they're chump blockers, which means that Ram Through would deal a lot of extra damage to them. But if we already have Trample, I feel like we're probably fine. Gutshot could clear blockers, but I don't think that's necessary. Again, we just need to find Trample. I think it's just the 2 safekeepings and cut like a Go Forth and a Might. I mean, Tormod's Crypt could take care of Snackers in the bin, but again, we're trying to be faster than them. Okay. Double creature. We could go forth for a 3rd land, so we could do this on turn 3. That's a possibility. Okay, there's our 3rd land, so we'll probably keep the go forth for pump, which is good because we're a little light on pump spells. I could just play Mirror on turn 2. It dies to whatever. Then I play another one, and then I have a Snakeskin Veil. Because if I just wait till turn 3 and then I Snakeskin Veil, they probably have removal for it anyway. And then I'm a turn behind. If they only have like 1 or 2 removal spells, maybe we can get them with the 2nd and the Snakeskin. If we draw like another protection spell here, though, we're certainly going to wait. It's just another Forest. Yeah, we're going to play one of these. Also, if they're playing like End of Festivities they probably brought in from the sideboard, then Mutagenic can protect there. If it's just a bolt, I can't keep it alive. Highway Robbery. I'm expecting a Fiery Temper. Alms of the Vein. That's fine. We don't actually have Trample or enough damage here, but I do like them not killing this again. So Rancor would be like our best draw, probably. That's Rancor. Is that lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even if they block, it's not quite lethal. Well, that's unfortunate, but still not bad. Pretty good draw. This actually means that they shouldn't block. but a lot of people don't know that because they'll only be blocking 1 damage with the toughness, but we're going to be getting +2/+2, and so they rightly don't block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, a little unfortunate, but still in a good spot for next turn. I guess we're going to leave everything up. Snakeskin Veil obviously blocks 1 spell, but if they have another one, we're going to have to use both Go Forth and Growth for it, and that's not good. Grab the Prize on a Snacker. I mean, they are not finding their burn. Spells, 2 creatures, which is what they need. Unless I'm speaking too fast and they have 2 bolts here. Attack for 1 since they know blocking doesn't matter. And they're going to pass. Okay, another pump spell would pretty much secure the package. Okay, no. So this puts them to 6. So if I do this and this, it'll be lethal, and then they have to go for it. So if they'd have 2 bolts, they can maybe catch us here. No, they could definitely catch us here. But we're going to go for it. We're going to go forth. +2/+2. And they have a bolt in response, so now I can't mutagenic to keep it alive. So I guess I Snakeskin Veil. And if they have another bolt, then no, they do not. So that should just be the game then. Well, I have to mutagenic as well. But that is going to be 8 poison. All right. Got a quick one there. All right, we're on the play here. We have a pretty good hand, except no creatures. I think you gotta look for a creature on turn on game 1. All right, this one's not amazing, but we do have the Mamba. So I think I can put back the Tunnel, then I can Forest, go forth, play a Mamba. I have the Mutagenics, and I have the Augur. But the Augur is a turn later. Either way, this is a tap land, essentially. So it doesn't let us go Augur into Mamba. So I guess we just keep it like this. Hold Augur for later. If we knew we were drawing a land, obviously this would be good. Okay, Haunted Mire could mean Dredge, which would probably be a very good matchup for us. But it could also mean Gardens, which is going to have a bunch of removal and going to be really bad for us. Either way, I think we just got to get down the Mamba and hope they don't. Maybe the removal is Defile, if we're lucky, and we can just Mutagenic Growth to keep our guy alive. If they just have a cast down or something, it's going to be kind of tough. Spell Bomb is totally fine. And it's a Defile. We can keep that alive with a Mutagenic. Okay. This is 4. So there's no way we can have lethal here. But honestly, Forest isn't terrible. So I can Rancor, but then I want to hold up Regenerate in case they have cast down. So I could just Llanowar Augur. The next turn I have, and I hit for 1. The next turn I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite lethal, but if we draw well, maybe. Or I could Rancor, hit for 3. The next turn we hit for 3 and Mutagenic. That's 8 as well. And the Augur's not down. So I think we gotta just put this down. Hold up. If they have a Snuff Out, like, we can't regenerate. But I think if they had a Snuff Out, they already would have used it. So I think we just hope that they only have a cast down. Because now if they have another Swamp, a Defile's actually going to get through our Mutagenic. And they do. They offering the Spell Bomb, though. Okay, looking for a Snuff Out. Hope they don't find it. We still need to draw any pump spell, and we need them to not have a Snuff Out, which looks like they might not, unless they're getting greedy, but we could have a protection spell. I guess, yeah, they should use it now, because if we have a protection like Vines of Vastwood, it actually pumps on our turn, and pumping now would not matter. So we're going to go for it, hope that we top deck any pump spell. Mutagenic works. Now, if they have the Snuff Out and they sandbagged it this long, then we're going to lose, but that is unlikely, I think. Mutagenic. And we got to go all in, so 10 damage at him. All right, got game 1. So again, we are actually going up against a lot of the removal decks. It looks like a Gardens to me, so safekeeping is necessary. I don't think we need anything else. So again, we'll cut a go forth. And I guess Rancor, they're less likely to have blockers. They could have actual... they'll probably have Colony Gardens, which is blocking. So maybe Rancor is good. We'll get rid of Might of Old Krosa. Good protection, but nothing to protect, so we got to mulligan that. Well, almost too many creatures, but I think on a mull to 6 and against the removal heavy deck, we're going to keep this one and get rid of one of the Mambas. Hope we draw a land and then a bunch of pump spells. They also mulligan, so could be okay. Safekeeping. We're just starting with the Glistener Elf, trying to get things going quickly. If they murder it, so be it. At least it's not just first creature dead and we're going to lose the game. Cycle a Troll and then Defile. They Duress. Okay, that's annoying. Seeing as they can take, one of our 2 protection spells, but our only pump spell. Indeed. Rancor's a hell of a top deck. We're just going to play that. At least if this dies, it comes back. we could protect this, but protecting a 1/1 does not seem like it's going to work very well. If they don't have a removal spell for it now, then we might start leaving up the safekeeping. They have a Tithing Blade. Well, that's annoying. Still playing Tithing Blade, huh? In Gardens? It's crazy. All right, land. Not great. If we get a land, we might be okay, because we still have 2 more creatures, although they know about them, which is annoying. Offering that away. Hit a swamp. I am legitimately going to potentially go... I mean, we're going to go for this plan because we have nothing else. And with 2 Rancors, it's actually possible we could get there. Plus the Rancors come back, and if we force them to use a removal spell on the Augur, not the worst thing ever. But we're in a bad spot for sure. There's a cast down. All right, well, again, not the worst. They're drawing a lot of cards, though. Forest. Almost, unfortunately, it does not allow us to get down a creature this turn. Thorn to the Black Rose. Yeah, I was kind of worried about that. I mean, ideally, they draw poorly, and another forest is not bad. We're going to play the Mirror. If they draw poorly, then maybe we can kill them before they draw more than a couple cards. If they have double removal, they get through this, which isn't great. They're going to swing. Crypt Rats. Okay, so they can Crypt Rats for 1, Itamio's safekeeping, and then they Crypt Rats for 1 again. I could just do it now, but then they just do it in our upkeep. And then in our upkeep, we have to Vines, and then they do it again. So yeah, this guy's dead. No way I can keep him alive. And if they're smart, they're going to wait till our turn because, yeah, then it wastes our attack. Another go forth. I mean, if we had another pump spell with toughness, then maybe I could, like, keep this alive through this, but it's not going to work. We're just going to attack and hope they just activate, but if they... Okay, they are going to do this. We're going to get +2/+2? Oh, and they're just going to sack it? They're not even going to try to kill this guy? That's weird. Well, I guess we didn't give it trample, so we can't get through. If we did try to give it trample, they would have just tried to kill it. But that is annoying. I don't really want to Blight Mamba because then they could just have another sweeper. I feel like I almost need more lands so that I can play a bunch of these in a turn. So even though this loses me a +2/+2, I think this might be the best course of action. They're going to Defile in response. 5. Well, I'm going to Safekeeping. And I guess I might as well Rancor right now. Yep, they have the second Crypt Rats. Kind of what I figured when they let the first one go without killing my guy. They swing for 1. Paying everything with the Crypt Rats. And play a Wellspring. We get an Augur. Well, I'm going to play a Mamba. And we're going to pass with Regenerate and Vines up. If they ever run out of removal spells, we can kind of just kill them. Well, I guess this is only 8, 9. Yeah, not quite kill them, I guess. But with the Augur, maybe. Draw 3. Defile. I suppose I will try to keep it alive. They now have the Snuff Out. Map onto the Thorn with a Cast Down on top. If I top deck a Blight Mamba, we'll keep playing because I can survive through the Cast Down, technically. If we draw anything else, it's not going to be worth it, I don't think. So maybe we can get another fast one on the play here. All right, we have double Glistener, Mutagenic against a Defile, some protection, another land. I mean, this hand looks pretty dang good. I could Glistener off right now. They have a Snuff Out, I can't do anything about it. Next turn, I go forth and Glistener Elf. I think if they just Defile, I can survive, but if they have the Snuff Out, it's pretty rough. If I play a land, if I go forth and the next turn I land, Glistener Elf with a Snakeskin, this is 8. But then I also run up against Tithing Blade. Ugh. It's so rough. This is a terrible matchup for us. If they just have Defile, we can survive, but yeah, the Snuff Out's gonna wreck us. And Duress, well, can't do anything about that. They could take our big pump spell, or protection, or our second land. I would assume the protection is the big one they care about. And they Duress now, so they can just Snuff Out, no problem. Although we don't have any free spells that are going to save us against the Snuff Out either way. They take the go forth. Okay. I guess if they have the Snuff Out for this now, then that means I can only play Glistener Elf. Yep. Next turn. And then I can't Snakeskin Veil, so it's kind of useless anyway. Unless we top deck a forest here. Escape Tunnel. Worse forest. Yeah, I think the chances they have a removal spell are super high, so I think we're going to just pass here, especially if they took the go forth. They play a Garden, which means I need Trample too. Yeah, this is just brutal, and they have a Troll, but they tap out, which is interesting. Means no Defile maybe, because otherwise why wouldn't they hold it up in case I play the Glistener Elf here? This isn't lethal regardless, so maybe I just play Augur here. Yeah, because it also plays around Tithing Blade better. And if I Glistener Elf, then I have no protection. Yeah, it's tough because I want to play as fast as possible to get them, but I also kind of need to play a little slow to have any sort of protection. I have a Wellspring. Blight Mamba. Could be okay, but we're going to start with the Elf. They're going to draw 3. Duress again. Well, if it doesn't matter if I Snakes in, because then they just remove in response. So go for it. Duress, quite brutal against us as well. Map onto the plant. So I could sack the Augur here. If they have a Snuff Out, throwing anything on this is going to kill us, lose us the game. They have 7 cards in hand. This is 10 damage, so if I find any pump spell, I can win. If they don't have the Snuff Out, I think that's worth it. I think the chances are they probably do have the Snuff Out. But if we find... Oh, gosh. We found the protection, but it's not a pump spell. I was going to say if we find a protection pump spell, like another Snakeskin Veil, maybe we're okay. Well, protection's still not bad. I guess they actually still have to block, because otherwise I could just Embiggen and Mutagenic for lethal. I think we still just do this to make it so that 1 damage later on is like lethal. And then we do have the protection, so if they Snuff Out in response here, we're fine. But okay, we'll put them to 9 poison. But cast down, we're going to try to protect it. And they know we have this Blight Mamba, but that works. They could have like a Drown in Sorrow or a Tithing Blade. Wellspring. They could also just have a Defile they can use on our turn, knowing that we don't have a spell to protect in our upkeep. Or maybe they don't have anything and we get them. But that might be a pipe dream. Another Blight Mamba. I would like to attack you for 1 poison, please. They accept! That's crazy! Ooh, alright. We're going to keep this hand. Not the most pump, but Mutagenic can catch people off guard. We have enough creatures. Ooh, against red. Problem is Mutagenic does not save against a Lightning Bolt unless we throw 2 on there, and that's no good. Another Go Forth. I think we have to just go for a land here. I don't need to do it now, though, because this is an instant. I could just throw out a Glistener Elf. What? A Glistener Elf. And that might be okay, but it just dies pretty easily. I think we try to get a second land first. Also gives us another turn to draw a better pump spell or protection spell. And another Epicure. Only three cards in hand left. Could be good. Another Ichor Clawmere. I could also just put down 2 Glistener Elves. If they have Bolt, it's kind of annoying. But at least they use them both, and then we put down a Mirror. I could just put down 1 Mirror. It gets through these guys a lot better, actually, because currently they just block a Glistener Elf, and I don't have the pump spells to really get through. Unfortunately, though, this is just 1 bolt. Yep, I can't Mutagenic. We just have to hope they run out of bolts pretty quickly before we die. And Ren's Resolve. Okay, I thought that was going to be a Bushwhacker, although a bolt is pretty annoying. Let me get like a Snakeskin Veil off the top. Okay, a Forest means I can actually deploy a couple guys and have Go Forth as well. Yeah, let's put down 2 Glistener Elves, and we have these for pump. I still have to turn 2 of these to save 1 elf, so I don't think I do that. But if they go for the second one, maybe... I don't know. Now they're going to Ren's Resolve. They hit a Fire Blast and a Rally. Well, we're almost dead, and we don't really have the pump to do it. Plus, they can Fire Blast this if they really want. They have a Galvanic with 4 damage. I could keep it alive. That's never going to work, though. Although we're taking 3 down to 10, Rally down to 5, and then Fire Blast down to 1. I don't know, we need something good here. Escape Tunnel's not it. Well, I'll play this, even though they can Fire Blast it. I guess I can keep it alive against that, and then maybe we draw perfectly. There's the Rally. Discard a Mountain. I mean, if they just get a Bolt, they also have lethal on us, so... In fact, if they get out anything, because I'm not going to block, so even if they get like an Epicure, that would be lethal. They do Fire Blast the Mirror. I have to keep this alive if I have any chance of winning, although I feel like by throwing 2 spells on this, we probably aren't going to win either, but... I think we have to try. Attack for 4. I could trade a Mutagenic and take 2 more damage to block 1, but that doesn't seem very good. Glistener Elf. I have to leave these back. I'm never going to be able to come back from this one, unfortunately. Safekeeping's good here. Nature's Claim to blow up their lands? I don't think so. Gut Shot. I think Ram Through seems decent here, though. We don't have to get... Like, Ram Through can kind of double our power. If we have, like, 6 power with Trample... Then it can deal 5 and then 5. So I think Ram Through might be for this type of a match. Although, like I said before, it might actually be better on the draw. On the play, maybe we just want to go faster. I don't know. Have not looked up a poison guide in a while. This is 9 damage. It's a lot of lands. Go Forth could be far better. We play a Glistener Elf. It just dies. just don't think this one's going to cut it. I think we have to have like a god hand in this matchup. And this is just about the same, but maybe worse. And yet we're going to keep it. I mean, Augur's not bad, I think. I mean, maybe this is better. This is all 10 damage. If we can just keep the Mamba alive, but that seems tough. Percussionist. We have a blocker for it. Vines. So I just go forth for a land so that I can Blight Mamba next turn with the Vines up? Probably. Otherwise, we just die to 1 bolt. I'd prefer to die to 2 bolts. Tomb Raider. Swing. If I block Tomb Raider and the Festivities kills this, but I guess that's better than them using it on a Blight Mamba. They're going to pass. We're going to get a forest. Another go forth. Well, we're just going to play this. I could wait another turn, go forth, and then play this with like regen and 2 of these up, but I don't think we can wait forever, fortunately. We're just going to Vines, keep it alive, and then it'll probably die next turn. But maybe they have all creatures, who knows. Alright, this time, I'm not going to let both of our creatures die to end the Festivities. So we'll just block like that. They bolt the Mamba. And then another Percussionist. Need to draw something good. That's not it. I mean, I guess that lets me start blocking these Percussionists, which I probably will. Mountain. Anything red is definitely going to be a bad matchup for us. We're going to Snakeskin this to start drawing them cards, I suppose. There's a mountain. Escape Tunnel. They got an Epicure and don't attack anymore. Maybe we survive somehow. Not if we're drawing all lands. Crack the Synth. I guess they're kind of desperate for stuff. Or maybe they just have a bunch of burn in hand that they don't want to waste. But if they had a lot of burn, it feels like they could probably get through at some point for lethal. They're going to pass. I guess I should maybe sack one of these for a forest. Just keep one of them. Crack another Synth. Epicure. As soon as a Bushwhacker comes out, we are toast. We do start attacking. I guess I block like this. Maybe I just should have just went forth. They just have double Fire Blasts and Bolt here, or Fire Blast and double Bolt. Cast into the Fire, them both. Okay, that doesn't kill this one. Okay, so they're just killing that one. That's fine. Mutagenic. I think this one's going to be a loss. They're going through some lands. There's the Bushwhacker. We block here. We take way more than lethal. All right, well, we went 3-2, so not too bad, considering that we went up against Gardens. I would say probably the hardest deck in the format, and we were actually able to win because they just play like 12, 14 removal spells main deck, some of which are free, some of which make us sacrifice, so it gets through our pump and our protection. We did play against red, lost that one pretty handily. That's definitely a tough matchup as well. But in general, the deck is pretty sweet. I always enjoy taking it. If you're looking for a fast deck, if you're trying to grind a lot, and you don't want to just play another mono red deck, this is not a bad one to do it with. In any case, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, including my $10 patrons, Howard Granger, Lars, JMW, Josh Greninja, Rafa Rodriguez, JDNPX, and Jason Golombuski. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.